feel like a coward.
Alright guys, this is game 2 between MarineKing over here on the right side as our red Terran, and his opponent on the left side, LosirA on the team Incredible Miracle. Of course, I failed to mention MarineKing is on the team Prime, but you all already knew that. So last game, MarineKing opened with 2 proxied barracks in the center of the map. Put a lot of pressure on LosirA, but LosirA was able to... He was able to do what many Zergs could not, and I feel it's because MarineKing never went home, he never set up a wall. He was able to use that huge Zergling count. When you deal with the 2 barracks pressure like that, you have to make a ton of Zerglings, and then afterwards, the most frustrating thing as a Zerg is, oh, okay, well now I have all these slow Zerglings I can't do anything with, I can't counterattack, he's going to have enough Marines at home, he's going to have a wall. You know, I could try to cut off reinforcements with these Zerglings, but if I do that before his bunker's finished, then, or before, you know, his pressure ends, then he's just going to kill my hatcheries, so I have to keep these slow Zerglings around for a while. But LosirA was able to send Zerglings and do a massive counterattack to MarineKing's base. MarineKing was not prepared. He kept his barracks in the middle of the map, so his Marines were always kind of out of place. And he killed so many SCVs that he got a huge lead, and then from there just played safely. Used his Mulus really well, killed off the third base of MarineKing, and kept the harassment up. MarineKing went for a big push, but LosirA had everything he needed to defend that. We're going to see, by the looks of things, a hatchery first for LosirA on dual site, the map that MarineKing has chosen. MarineKing has taken a gas back at home, so likely we'll see a reactor Hellion expand. He has not walled off, so LosirA will be able to come in here and scout what his opponent is doing. Does see the gas. Now, LosirA going gas before pool, very similarly to how Lenok played the previous series, getting the latest pool possible. And the drone's still roaming around, of course. I'm curious to see what LosirA is going to do on this map. This definitely is a map that I would choose if I were Terran and I wanted to play against a macro-oriented player like LosirA. LosirA's style is to take a lot of bases, to spread his creep like a crazy person. But on this particular map, there's not a lot of space for flanks. There's not a lot of space for counterattacks. MarineKing is going to, if he holds the watchtower, see everything coming. Should be able to slow the creep down. He's trying to micro this Marine to make sure he can catch the drone if it's cancelled, but LosirA is going to cancel correctly, and he may end up cancelling and being able to scout that factory and reactor, but seeing the gas alone is enough. He's going to know what's going on. This is the most common build right now for Terrans to do, and MarineKing actually going to make his command center on the low ground becoming more and more popular. I really like that. It's one of the happiest moments of my life when players start to realize, oh, I should just make this on low ground, it's fine, it's going to be okay, and just start doing that every game. So you can see just 104 gas being mined for LosirA, pulled all the workers out after getting that metabolic speed boost upgrade. First 2 Hellions on the way from MarineKing pretty quick, and that extractor will fall. Meanwhile, MarineKing starts a second factory, so he's going to be meching here. Eight Zerglings on the way for LosirA, as well as a Spine Crawler. The Spine Crawler going to help him out quite a bit against the Hellions. His Zergling speed should be finished by the time the Hellions arrive. He will not be able to hold the watchtowers, though. Sees the Hellions coming through here. Queen actually coming out, getting brave. Might damage this Hellion. The Spine almost done, but not quite. And Hellion takes a little bit of Queen damage there, but the Spine's up. Queen's going to block the ramp. Should be totally fine. I like this choice to send the Zerglings across the map, though, by LosirA. So you're going to go around to the back here. Huge counterattack. MarineKing does not have very many SCVs here, though. Will he be able to get into the main? Did MarineKing wall? The answer is no. He didn't wall. He didn't actually decide to reposition his structure. So LosirA doing a lot of damage here. Well, he could have potentially done a lot of damage. The problem is there were Hellions out to defend. Hellions do quite well against Healings. But he does clean up some of the Hellions and is still killing workers now. And most importantly, scouted the double reactor factories. This is basically an all-in. I've had a lot of arguments with people about whether or not this is really all-in, actually fairly recently. But if you have 2 factories with reactors, you make a ton of Hellions, you hit your opponent, you can do a lot of damage if it's unscouted. But in this case, it's been scouted. LosirA makes the Roach Warren. If he defends this and gets a quick lair up, he's actually going to be ahead in tech. He's going to have a better economy. And the Hellions are just going to be fairly useless. Yeah, you can use them to control the map, but LosirA will have a huge advantage. We'll see, though, if he can hold this off. More Hellions coming out across the map now. 4 at a time being rallied out of those factories. And the Roach Warren is not even done yet. He's only got the 1 spine here at the front. Another spine about to finish, but the drones are on their way out of here. The Queens will absolutely go down. MarineKing decides to target them, which he does. 1 Queen falls. More Hellions coming here. They're taking a lot of hits, though, by the spines. Nice control so far by LosirA, but... oh, no. Now the drones are exposed. Not the best micro in the main base, but now starting to micro those Hellions. Killing a decent amount of workers, but look at the supply. MarineKing's still behind on supply. And I think LosirA actually has held this. LosirA's done a good enough job. He did lose a decent amount of workers. But in total, MarineKing lost a ton of workers as well. He's got no real backup plan here. He's only making 3 Hellions and 2 SCVs at a time. LosirA's got an evolution chamber. He can start getting upgrades. He can make a lair if he chooses to. So he's actually going to continue with Roach production. May even go for a Roach attack pretty soon. Right now, the Roach is starting to move out across the map, but he's got to be careful of these Hellions. He does spot them now. Decides not to send his Roaches back, though. 1 Roach and 1 Queen slowing these Hellions down ever so slightly, but the Spines can do the real damage now. Does take out that Queen. That's a lot of production lost. And the drone's not being pulled immediately. LosirA hesitating a little bit here. Losing a lot of workers. Going for a counterattack with these Roaches, though. The 1 Roach and the Spines doing some extra damage to these Hellions. The Hellions in the main now exposed. Meanwhile, Roaches are upon MarineKing. Queen doing some damage to those Hellions. The Marauder is going to try to help defend here. The Hellions in the main not microed. He's too busy microing in his own main base. It looks like this is going to be the end for MarineKing, though he has no answer for these forces. And his all-in has failed. Looks like LosirA is going to win game 2 and take the second win of this group as the last Hellions fall here. Nice micro by LosirA, targeting him down. The Marauder doing some nice extra damage here, but it's not going to be enough. He's just lost too much here. More Zerlings coming in. Going to surround some of these Hellions. And droning up back home. Look at the worker count. 36 to 14 with only 2 Hellions out. It's the only thing LosirA has to worry about right now. The Hellions actually taking a significant amount of damage from these Roaches. Reactors do fall. MarineKing out of luck here. Taking his very first second in this group. Continue to try to micro to his heart's content, not GGing just yet. But look at that, there's just so many Roaches, and even if he ends up holding here just barely, which he will do, supply is 50 to 21, a macro hatch is down for LosirA. His worker count is out of control. The workers killed there. Much more for LosirA. MarineKing does have mules. He's got to get new add-ons up, though. He's going to try to make a bunker to hold on a little bit longer. Hellion's going to try to go take the watchtowers now. The spines still remain up, so he's not going to be able to use his Hellions aggressively. Not going to be able to attack LosirA directly. LosirA actually has Zerlings ready for another counterattack. Then try to actually catch these Hellions as they approach the spines, most likely. And the Zerlings will come and try to trap the Hellions, most likely. Meanwhile, 1 Hellion falls. And instead of trying to trap these Hellions with those Zerlings, he's actually sent them to the natural. Going to run into the main, where he'll kill even more SCVs. Things looking impossible for MarineKing at this point. Stuck in his base again. Does clean up the Zerlings with basically no losses, but stuck in his base doesn't cost LosirA a lot to do that. He's got his macro hatch ripped now. 13 Roaches about to pop, and when they do, he's just going to attack with them. And MarineKing will have no answer. He doesn't even have to send any units back home to defend if Hellions come out. He's got plenty with the spines there. And with rallying Zerlings behind this, he should be able to help clean up these Marauders. There is a bunker. I just don't see this being enough. He's got to be careful with the Zerlings, though. He is giving a lot of Zerlings away to MarineKing for free. Right now, 101 supply to 56 87. MarineKing going to move out with just purely Hellion Marauder. Pretty good composition against what he's up against. If controlled correctly, though. If the Marauders get too far behind like they are right now, the Zerglings could find them. LosirA knows what's going on, though. He's actually repositioned his spines here. He's got plenty of roaches to defend. Probably going to make just Speedlings behind this. He's got 9 more roaches about to pop. That'll put him at over 20 roaches. If he just rallies Speedlings behind that, it should be enough to deal with the Marauders. Targets down some of these Hellions. Nice control by LosirA. Now with more than double the supply of his opponent. MarineKing trying to stay in this, trying to do what he can. You know, he's got the mules dropping. He's continuing his worker count. He's trying to get his workers back up to normal. He's got Stim on the way now. Adding more barracks, getting better production here. Even going to start adding his gas as naturally. He's trying to do everything he can. It's just that LosirA is shutting him down at every turn, playing so patiently and so calmly, not making very many mistakes, throwing a few Zerglings away here and there, but he's always aware of what his opponent's doing. He's really doing a great job of scouting. Roach is actually found by Hellions in the middle of the map, but does actually manage to hide the majority of those roaches. Now the huge roach force that's coming across the map has been spotted. MarineKing has no answer for this. He's got 1 bunker. He's going to want to put those Marauders in there, but I don't think it's going to matter, to be quite frank. More Zerglings coming behind this as well. Even more from 22 Banelings. This is the grand finale for LosirA. Hellions see this, but what can they do? MarineKing needs to make more bunkers if he wants to have any hope of holding this, but even if he did, the bunkers would not be up in time. Here they come. Banelings on the left side to avoid the units on the high ground. SCV is coming up at the front, but that's exactly what the Banelings want. Banelings crushing through everything, and even going to come up into the main base now. GG. MarineKing 2-0'd by LosirA, taking his first loss. So, Lenok and LosirA very opposite here. Of course, Lenok losing his first game, LosirA taking his first. That's the standings of our Zergs. And of course, top being 1-0 and MarineKing 0-1 in the group. We're going to take a quick break before we jump into our winners games.